No one is talking about the Game Awards. Nobody watched the Game Awards. Nobody cares about the Game Awards. What I was telling people was completely and utterly accurate. Nobody cares about what goes on in these shows. And pointing that out is not necessarily endorsing the shows or enabling them. Like, this is just pointing out reality. Nobody cares about the Game Awards. And it's not just this year. It was last year. It was the year before that. It was the year before that. The Game Awards is completely and utterly irrelevant, and yet people want to continue this farce for as long as possible because the Game Awards is kind of the last shred of credibility that PlayStation has. Like, no, we're popular. Look at all these awards Jeff Keighley gave us after we paid him all this money. Like, you know why we called it Astrobot? Because we bought the award for it. Like, unbelievable, like unbelievable seeing just the fallout from this award show, seeing like Statler and Waldorf being like venerated and it's like the heroes of the night, and seeing everybody just kind of refusing to address the elephant in the room is that, like, yeah, this is a typical year for the Game Awards, right? When you didn't have a Nintendo game to beat, what ended up happening was that it was a massive shill show for the PlayStation Nation, right? It was the PlayStation Awards. And I've talked about this extensively in the past, but it really does need to be said here. Astrobot winning Game of the Year proves that none of this matters and that it isn't going to amount to anything, because Astrobot is an old IP, over a decade old, that Sony has been trying to make a thing for years now, right? And with this release, they tried doing this thing where, like, oh, it's better than Mario, like, oh, like they tried saying it was a bestseller, that it outperformed Mario Wonder, that it did all this, that it won Game of the Year. But the reality is quite a bit different, right? The reality is that this game was completely and totally irrelevant. Not only did it not outperform Mario Wonder, it failed to outperform Kirby and the Forgotten Land. It failed to outperform like Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. Like, there are so many other Nintendo platforming series that Astrobot would have to top before it even came close to Mario. And as it stands now, the entire industry agrees on this, by the way. Astrobot isn't even better than Super Mario Galaxy, right? So you gave an award to a game that could not even outperform a Wii game from 2007. Okay, that's how bad things have gotten, right? They tried everything they possibly could to prop up Astrobot, to prop up Baldur's Gate 3, to prop up Elden Dingaling, right? They did everything they could to like legitimize these games, prop them up as all-time classics, like try and like put them on the same degree of success and popularity as Nintendo's heavy hitters, and all of them failed. Every single one. Elden Ring is becoming increasingly casualized. Baldur's Gate 3 is never getting a sequel. Like, Baldur's Gate 3 is going to go through the same, like, arc The Witcher did, right? Where people worship it for, like, a decade as, like, the end-all, be-all for RPGs, while Nintendo fans are enjoying, like, dozens of better RPGs on their console, until finally, unceremoniously, like, the entire brand falls off, right? It's going to be like, it's impossible, right, to pretend that the Game Awards are relevant after this showcase. Okay, like, I didn't watch it. Nobody I knew watched it. Nobody was talking about it unless it's specifically to address how bad the show is, right? And this is why I'm bringing up the show now. This is why I will, like, mention the show in passing in the near future, even though I'm actively boycotting the show and will not support it, will not watch it, will not talk about it, right? People need to know that the awards are bullshit and that nobody should care about them at all, right? They have been completely and utterly discredited throughout their entire decade of existence. And the fact that people continue to pretend otherwise is just a giant cope to continue this farce of the industry in pretending that Nintendo is not the dominant force in the industry, that they aren't the market leader, that they don't have the most successful brands and the most powerful consoles, the most successful IPs in gaming, right? The Game Awards is just an illusion to continue that facade. Okay, and that needs to be addressed before we really talk about anything else, right? I am sick and tired of seeing the Game Awards be propped up as a weapon to be used against Nintendo. I was saying it before the show aired, and I'm saying it after I did not watch it. The Game Awards are bullshit and should be condemned by everyone. We are going to keep I am going to continue reminding people of this. I am going to continue pointing this out. We cannot allow this to continue. I don't want to hear about this show. I don't want to hear people talking about it. I don't want to bring it up at all. This show has no credibility. No one cares. No one watches it. No one values the show. It is just an industry shill. So, with that being said, what was the real game of the year? I produced my own game of the year show, Super Mario and Luigi Brothership 1, of course. We're playing better games now on the stream every day, and it really needs to be said when it comes to like Jeff Keighley that he's not doing that. When is he streaming games? When is he talking about games? When is he doing anything other than like pretending to be best friends with Hideo Kojima and hanging out with Hollywood celebrities, right? Like, is Jeff Keighley a gamer? Is any of those people? Is any of the people he's involved with gamers? Is anyone seriously excited about The Witcher 4 featuring the girl boss Ciri or like Neil Druckmann's new game? Like, no, absolutely nobody is interested in any of that. The Game Awards were a complete wash. It was an attempt at trying to revitalize the PlayStation brand. It was an attempt at trying to downplay the success of Nintendo. It was an attempt at trying to keep things how they were a decade ago, right? Desperately trying to bring back that energy, but it just isn't going to happen, right? The Game Awards is going to burn out and fade away long before Nintendo does. And we are going to see that more and more clearly over the next several years because there is nothing the Game Awards can do to downplay Nintendo's successes.